Welcome in to the Go STR live stream series. I'm Sam Mastretta, your host for the next 15 spicy minutes in the Falaya Focus podcast studio, where we take a sneak peek behind the scenes look at professional Airbnb hosts from around the world that have had such great success. Their guests keep coming back time and time again to visit their outstanding properties. And today, I am absolutely thrilled to have my friend and colleague, Chris Petzy with Seacoast2Summit, coming to you live from, where are you coming to us from, Chris?
Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, that's awesome. How's the weather in New Hampshire right now?
It is fantastic right now. A little cooler than it is down south, I bet.
Yeah, 100%. I bet.
Yeah. I was just in Austin this past week, and it was 98 all day long and all night long. I couldn't handle it, so I'm glad to be home.
Absolutely. And what were you in Austin for?
For the VRMA conference, that short-term rental forum, for 2 days.
Nice. How was that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, some really big operators, big brands, 150, 200 plus units, and the learning was just fantastic. Really good.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. I've talked to a few folks that went there. But anyway, that's that. This is this. Let's have some fun in the next 15 minutes, shall we, Chris?
For sure. Let's do it.
All right, man. So I know about your portfolio. It's amazing. It's one of the best I've seen, but the folks here may not be as familiar. But before we get into your properties and things like that, how did you get started into this crazy Airbnb thing?
Yeah, we bought a property in 2019, and we did really well as an owner and investor. And so we started selling that service of co-hosting to other properties or owners in the area, and grew it organically that way. Then I partnered up with my amazing business partner, Sean Bakhtiari, who's a real estate agent in North Shore, Massachusetts. And he had, I think, 10 listings at the time. And so together we just scaled this thing. Now we have about 80 listings.
Wow. 80 listings. And so where are those listings located? You said you were in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, for the vast majority of them, they're from Portsmouth, New Hampshire down to Plum Island or Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is actually where Sean lives. So that is about a 40-minute radius. We do have some in the mountains. I own a couple in Bridgewater, Vermont, in between Woodstock and Killington. We also have one in Thornton, New Hampshire, and one in Conway, New Hampshire. And we're starting to grow more into the mountains because we really like the full year seasonality of those types of markets. Here along the coast, it's very, very seasonal. So to be able to kind of move into the mountains helps with cash flow, but it also just serves more people in northern New England, which is really where our focus is.
That's great. So in South Louisiana, we have 1.5 seasons. And so in those mountain areas, do a lot of folks come for the leaves turning? I heard that's a big deal up there.
Well, that's what's amazing about the mountains, especially in an area like Conway. They have a great summer market. They have a great foliage period, about 4 weeks. It's probably the best time of year to come to New England. That's what we're kind of known for. And then there's, of course, ski season from January through mid-March. So there's less seasonality like you have along the coast, which is really, like you said, kind of like June through August. Whereas in the mountains, it can almost be year-round, except for maybe 2 or 3 months.
Interesting. So what is in the business, we call it your guest avatar, right? But what is kind of your target guests? Who are the guests? What type of folks love your properties? So it sounds like you may have some different types of markets in there, right? Some coast, some in the mountains and things like that. But smaller groups, larger groups, families, honeymoons, stuff like that.
Yeah, we're pretty well diversified in terms of that. It kind of depends on season and market. So I would say we are most certainly in traditional vacation rental markets. So during the summer and during ski season, foliage season, we're absolutely attracting families. So families, kids, groups of friends, that's all fair game. I will say, because of the seasonality, and we do have some in the cities, during the what we call the off season, which is like 6 to 9 months along the coast, we'll look for anybody like corporate travelers, insurance relocation, medical providers, those types of avatars, which is a totally different avatar than what you're attracting during the summer. And those will be more midterm stays, but we like to tailor to both of those avatars just depending on the season.
Gotcha. So pretty wide variety. Anybody really, like work or play?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to if you try to attract everybody, then you kind of attract nobody. But it based on the season, we kind of change our strategy based off that, which makes us versatile and diverse.
I love it, man. And so whenever you're talking about your properties, you mentioned you own some and you manage or co-host for other folks, right? So can you give us a kind of an idea about which type of properties you own and manage yourself, and which type of properties that you guys manage for other folks?
Yeah, so I own and manage 4 properties or 9 doors. A couple of them are multifamilies, and 3 out of those 4 are mostly vacation rentals, again, in traditional vacation markets. The other one is more in a smaller city. And so that'll be, again, a mix. It could be corporate travelers, travel, medical providers, but it could also still be family, friends, that sort of thing that just want to come to the city for a weekend. So I do have a mix, and that is in line with the people that we manage for as well. So one thing that we always like to say, Sean and I both own a few properties ourselves. Everything that we do for owners and investors, we're doing for ourselves as well. We're running our business exactly the same way. So we can relate to their experience, and we know we have the recipe in play to make it work for ourselves, but then also for our owners and investors.
I love it. I love that. So you're in a few different markets, right? So for me personally, and I'm in a few different markets myself, I like my beach markets kind of in the shoulder season and maybe in the off season sometime. And a lot of travelers, a lot of vacationers don't really know about the best things in the off season or in the shoulder season. Again, like me, that's when I really want to go. So do you have anything like that in like your shoulder or off seasons that guests may not know about that people love or yourself love, in any market really that you're in?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll talk about the coast first.
Yeah.
Along the coast, which is where I live in Portsmouth, my favorite time of year is September and October. The water, the ocean water, is actually the warmest during that time of year. It's been heated up all summer long. And after Labor Day, because kids are going back to school, it's a little bit quieter, and yet things are still open. Like down in Hampton, they're still going to have restaurants that are open. Here in Portsmouth, it stays open obviously all year round. Rye, same thing. And so that's my favorite time of year because it's a little bit less traffic, but it's still reasonably really warm, 70s, 80s some days. And again, the water is just like primo. So that is the best time of year, in my opinion, to come to the coast. And yeah, I mean, in the mountains, I personally like to come a little bit later in October where the air gets a little bit crispier. Again, it gets quieter. You might not have like the pop in terms of the leaves, but something I love to do with my 2 boys, which are 5 and 2, I take them on an annual boys trip, just me and them, and we go up to our place in Bridgewater, and it's like just after everybody's left from foliage season, and so it's just us. We go do some hiking. It's not super cold yet, so it's that perfect blend. And at least for me, like those are my 2 favorite times a year in the fall for both markets.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree with you more. In the beach markets, that I'm in, it's like a little hidden secret that not a lot of people know about. And I know it may be, not the easiest time or whatever, because kids may be in or out of school or whatever, but for like a weekend trip or something like that, or even give the kids to the in-laws or something like that. It's so cool because the temperature is the same, but it's just so much less traffic and things like that. So
100%. Yeah.
I love it. Love the fall too. So we're looking at a lot of beautiful things here. What are these images that we're seeing on the screen here, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a videographer go through a bunch of different markets. What you're seeing, this is downtown Newburyport. Probably one of our best listings. Here's Rye, Hampton. This is Newburyport, Plum Island. This is downtown Newburyport, back to Rye. So the different markets, you got kind of Newburyport and Portsmouth are coastal like cities, like very small cities, but they're 5 minutes from the water, that's what's kind of unique about them. And then like this image, that was of Hampton Beach. This is of Rye. Like then you have your traditional coastal markets that can showcase some of your, again, traditional vacation rental listings that we have.
Yeah. I love it, man. That's beautiful. It looks so quaint, just like quintessential, like New England, like beach town, man. I love it. So what is this website? Is this your website, your direct booking website?
Yeah, it is. So this is our Seacoast Vacation Rentals site. This will encompass everything. We'll go through this, but when you click book now, that's going to actually take you to the direct booking site, which I have up here as well. But this will encompass everything from, hey, if you want to learn more about us, you can do that. We have, again, midterm rentals are in the off season, so we list those kind of separately, attract people through Zillow, but also directly through our website and show them fixed rates instead of having to go through the OTAs. We have a blog, showcase some things around town or the different markets, management. So if you're interested in understanding how we operate as a business and you want to work with us, partner, and you can get a free consultation as well. And then our existing owners have an owner's portal, which takes them out and they can see live performance of how their property is doing in real time.
Wow. I love that. Very slick, very slick. So you said you can see some of your rentals and some of your properties on this website too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Can you take us on a little sneak peek tour of maybe some of your favorite properties? This is what I love. And you guys are going to love his properties too.
Yeah. So, first of all, we kind of showcase this to show like why you would book with us. So you can drop down and see all that information. And then we highlight some of our best properties. I mean, all of them I think are awesome, but, showcasing just a few photos of what those look like. This one's beachfront, obviously you have views of the basin there. And then you can see all of our different markets just by scrolling down to this section. So I'll take you through a couple. So if we go into Newburyport, again, this is going to take you out to the direct booking website, but it's going to be specifically for the Newburyport listings that we have. And so one of my favorites here is this one. This is downtown Newburyport and beautifully designed, renovated maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but you can kind of see the exposed brick from, the original building when it was built. Oh, wow. And this is like 2 minutes from downtown. So it's an amazing spot and you can see the proximity to the water. It's a ton of fun going there. Sean and I actually just recorded some content because it has some great backgrounds. The aesthetic is awesome. So that's one in Newburyport, has great reviews. Yeah. And then I'll show you in Rye here. These properties we don't own. We manage a 7-unit. And what's cool about this is all 7 of these listings have ocean views. So this is the room and you can see right out into the ocean, which is pretty cool. And then you can sit out on the porch, look out of the water. It is a beautiful view. And again, pretty well designed, renovated right before we took it over for management. And that's the proximity. So you got a big yard. You can walk over the ledge. There's a beach like quarter mile down the road. So those are a couple that I would highlight. And there's certainly obviously a bunch of others in different markets as well. But those are my favorites. And what we're really looking for there is just unique design, great proximity, and just something we can maintain and clean and make sure it's an excellent stay each and every time for our guests.
Absolutely. Design is outstanding and consistency, right? I mean, that's what people are looking for.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
I love that. Cool. Who built this website?
We actually built it in-house. We use Squarespace, and my marketing manager put this together last December.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that, man. Super, super slick, easy to use, easy for folks to find it. That's great, man.
Yeah.
So how can guests find your homes to rent if they're in the area, if they want to go during the, special like sneak kind of shoulder season time, or, even in peak season, where can they go? Can you review that with us again?
Yeah, I would just start here. So I would go to Seacoast Vacation Rental site.co. This will be changing. I know, Sam, you mentioned it at the beginning. Our brand is changing from Seacoast Vacation Rentals to Seacoast2Summit to incorporate our mountain properties. So that URL will change to seacoast2summit.com. But in the meantime, if you come here, click on book now, you'll be taken right out to the direct booking site, and you'll be able to find every property and every destination. So you can book right through that site.
Awesome. Super easy. And we'll put the existing and the future URL in the show notes as well, so nobody can get confused. And so how about investors? Somebody that, may be in the area, may want to work with you guys and partner up with you. What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah, hit up the free consultation here. You'll be taken to this, submit the form. We'll reach out to you proactively. We just ask for a little information about where you're at and the bedrooms, bathrooms, estimated square footage. That allows us to put together a free estimate for you in terms of projections, what your property could earn. And then we can have a phone conversation and see if we're a good fit for you and the property is a good fit for us.
Very cool. Very cool. Just giving value right off the bat. Just here's what we think your property can make in our professional opinion.
Yeah.
Very cool. So last question we always ask everybody. So what's one piece of advice that you would give fellow Airbnb hosts who want to stand out in hospitality like yourself?
Focus on the service of hospitality and never lose sight of adding value to the product and service. I think it can be easy to get ahead of yourself, be acquiring properties, focusing on the marketing, maybe trying these little tactics to get ahead and optimize. But at the core of it, if you can provide an amazing experience for your guests and just focus on that core mission, then the rest will take care of itself. So focus on getting 5-star reviews by providing excellent experiences. And for us, that's been our recipe for over 5 years now. And we have a really high retention rate with our owners. We have excellent repeat rate, about 20% direct bookings. And it's been a consistent strategy for us. It's worked really well to be sustainable over the long term. If you want to be in this game for the long haul, then that's got to be your number one focus at all times.
I love that, man. Hospitality, keep that at the center because that's the business.
Exactly. Yep.
100%, man. I love it. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining me here at the Falaya Focus podcast studio. I'm Sam Estrada with Go STR Marketing, guys. Check out Chris Petzy with Seacoast2Summit, coming to you live from Portsmouth, New Hampshire, but he's got places all over New England. He's got the mountains, he's got the beach, everywhere. So he's got you covered. As you can see right here in the last few minutes, why I highly recommend you guys. Chris is a well-known professional operator in that area. I highly recommend him, guys. So Chris, thanks so much for being here with me, man.
No, thanks so much, Sam. This was a ton of fun. I appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely. I always have fun talking with you, my man. So guys, see y'all next time on the Go STR live stream series. Cheers.
See ya.